It's just two little letters, one small word, no. Isn't it funny, though, how sometimes the smallest words are the absolute hardest ones to say? So today, let's just gently explore the incredible power that's hidden in that simple word.
Let's just take a quiet moment. I want you to think back to the last time you said yes, when really every part of you wanted to scream no. How did that feel afterwards? Were you drained? Overwhelmed? Maybe even a little resentful? If any of that sounds familiar, I just want you to know you are so not alone in that feeling. You know, this visual really says it all, doesn't it? Over on one side, you've got the path of yes, and it looks kind of tangled, a bit chaotic. That's exactly what happens when we spread ourselves way too thin. It's a direct route to burnout. But then, look at the other side, the path of no. It's so much clearer, isn't it? More peaceful. That's the path that actually leads to focus, to self-respect, and, just a genuine sense of well-being.
So let's start with our first big idea here, and it's all about reframing how we think about the word no. See, it's not about rejection at all. It's really about preservation. It's about protecting your own energy. And this is just so important. Just think about it for a second. Your time and your energy, they are your most valuable resources, and they're not infinite. So every single time you say no to something, you're not really closing a door. What you're actually doing is making a very conscious choice about where you invest those precious resources. And it's kind of like a domino effect, When you spread yourself too thin, that leads to exhaustion. And when you're exhausted, well, it's almost impossible to focus on what truly matters to you, on your own priorities. The key thing to remember is this. Every time you say yes to something that's going to drain you, you are, without even realizing it, saying no to yourself.
Which brings us so naturally to our next thought, building stronger boundaries. And I just love this way of thinking about them, not as these huge walls to keep people out, but more like a gentle fence, one that's there just to protect the little garden of your own well-being.
You can almost think of healthy boundaries as a kind of instruction manual for how to treat you. It's not about controlling anyone else, not at all. It's just about being clear. And when you're clear about your limits, you really open the door for relationships that are built on real mutual respect instead of just obligation.
But what happens when those boundaries get a little blurry? Well, that's often when that feeling of resentment starts to quietly creep in. It's like a little signal, a warning sign that our limits have been crossed one too many times. And that's exactly where no becomes our best friend. It's the tool we can use to gently but firmly redraw that line.
And let's be really clear about this. Saying no isn't about being difficult. It's not about being unhelpful. It's about something so much deeper, so much more important. It's actually a profound act of self-care. It's about finally being kind to yourself. This is exactly what we're talking about. Every single time you honor your limits, every time you say no to something that you know will just drain you, you're basically creating this little shield of peace around yourself. You're sending a really powerful message to your mind and your body that says, my well-being matters. Let's just sit with this for a moment. What you choose not to do often tells more about your priorities than what you choose to do. Wow, that's really powerful, isn't it? It's our no's that actually carve out the space for our most important yeses. When we say no to all the distractions, we're finally making room for our deepest commitments. Okay, so maybe we're on board with the why now. But then comes the tricky part, right? The how. How do we actually say no without feeling like we're being mean or hurting someone's feelings? Well, the really good news is there is a kind and compassionate way to do it. The real key is finding that sweet spot, right between being firm and being respectful. You can be crystal clear about your boundary while still being incredibly gentle with the other person. It is absolutely possible to honor your own needs and show respect for theirs, all at the same time. So this gives us a really simple 3-step guide. Let's just walk through it together. First, be clear and polite. Something simple like, I'm not able to do that right now, works perfectly. Second, show respect for the request. You could say, I really appreciate you thinking of me for this. And then the third step, and this one is so important, reinforce your limit without feeling like you have to apologize or over-explain. You don't need a huge story. A simple, my plate is just too full right now, is more than enough. See? Simple, clear, and kind. So, I'll leave you with this one question to just think about. As you start to practice saying no a little more often, what will you finally be able to say yes to? Will it be more rest, more creativity, maybe more time with the people who really matter most? Because in the end, the true, gentle power of no, it isn't about what you're refusing. It's all about what you're finally making space for.